guys, welcome to my channel. This is Molly, and here we talk about everything that is self-mastery, spirituality, inner child healing, emotional trauma, and relationships. And today I wanted to talk a little bit about the difference between egoic love and higher self-love, and how to get started on the path to higher love. So the type of love that we're talking about today can be applied generally to most of your relationships, both romantic and platonic. And so hopefully this helps you out on your journey to being a better lover, okay? Regardless of who the person receiving it is. And the concept of love itself is going to be a little bit tricky to summarize into one video because it's such a large concept, and that is the whole point. We all think we know what love is, but we really kind of have no clue. And that's because as humans, we have two avenues through which we can experience and give and receive love. And that is through the egoic mind or the higher self, the spirit. And usually as humans, we tend to participate more in the egoic perspective. So what does that mean? So in the egoic mind, we experience love as something that we receive from someone else. And usually it is to fulfill a part of our inner story. The ego is the story that you tell yourself that you have believed throughout your life. And so, for example, let's say your mom, your dad abandoned you as a child. You now seek love to help cover up that or patch that hole that you now feel as a result of your parent leaving. That is egoic love. You're looking outside to receive that love. You're not generating that love from within you. You're not giving it out. Now, the higher self is the spirit. It is rooted in the divine. And to be honest, this is what true love is. Because love is not a human construct. True love, unconditional true love of the higher self is from the divine. It's from God. It's from the universe. Love from the perspective of our higher selves is unconditional. It's free. It's the kind of love where it doesn't matter what you do. You're not judged for it. You are still at your core a beautiful, loving being. And this is the kind of love that generates from within. Truly unconditional or higher self-love is the recognition of somebody else's good, of somebody else's beauty as a person. And so it originates in you. There's nothing that person has to do to be known to you as somebody who is amazing and wonderful. And so to summarize the difference between the two, the ego or egoic love finds satisfaction from being in love. And the higher self or higher love finds satisfaction from being love. The danger with egoic love is that because we aren't generating this love, there's no guarantee that we'll always get it the way that we want it and need it. It's another human being. We can't control what they do. They're not put on this earth to love us. They're put on this earth to live their lives. And so there's just so much risk associated with it, and therefore risks of constant dissatisfaction. You're gonna have this kind of this gaping hole within you that's never gonna be filled because you're not generating your own source of love. And so I'm here to advocate for higher self-love. One where you are more concerned with how to be love rather than how to get love. And the way that you do that is by realizing that being is a verb. It's an action. It's something that you're doing. Being is something that you're doing. And so higher self-love is achieved through being, through doing, through practicing, through actually participating in doing loving actions. Unconditional, non-egoic love is an action. And as an action, it's a skill that we have to learn to master. And it starts with ourselves. It starts with loving ourselves. And why is that so important? You hear that everywhere. And, it's a really vague construct for maybe people who are new to it or don't know how to love themselves. And it's all about practicing loving and accepting unconditionally all that you are. And by doing that, you create an ability to love and accept someone else for all that they are without trying to change them to be something to fulfill your own gaping egoic holes, right? So that's what higher self-love is. It's about coming to an understanding and acceptance of yourself for all that you are, loving your good, accepting your bad, trying to always be better, striving for the life that you want, really getting in tune with you. It starts with you, and therefore you'll be able to give that love to someone else. You have to generate it within you, about you, to give out. And so something I really wanted to introduce to you guys was this book. If you've never heard of it, it's by the same writer of the 4 Agreements, Don Miguel Ruiz, and the name of it is The Mastery of Love. It is an excellent book for those of you who want more in-depth study on what higher self, unconditional, truly divine love is for yourself and for your relationships. I highly, highly recommend this book. But I wanted to read an excerpt on it. And mind you, it's only about 200 pages. It's really not that long of a book at all. So I highly recommend that you invest into it if you don't currently have it. But there is a small portion in here in which he says, we can talk about love and write 1,000 books about it, but love will be completely different for each of us because we have to experience love. Love is not about concepts. Love is about action. Love in action can only produce happiness. Fear in action can only produce suffering. The only way to master love is to practice love. You don't need to justify your love. You don't need to explain your love. You just need to practice your love. Practice creates the master. And that's how you become a master of love. And so love to each of us is different because we are individual humans. And so you need to understand what your personal definition of love is. How do you feel most loved? What do people, or what do you experience? What feelings do you get when something good happens to you? When do you feel most loved? Really get in tune with what your definition of love is and start generating that more within your own life. And filling your own cup, you'll be able to come to a relationship or come to a friendship completely there for them. You're there giving them love, filling your own cup, and as a result, they give you love back. It isn't this constant search for, I need this person to do this specific thing to fill this specific hole that I have. It is, I am perfect the way I am. I am loved the way I am. I'm loved by myself and by the divine. And I am here to love you, regardless of what you do. I am here to love you. Now, you might not physically be with the person if there are incompatibilities, right? Being unconditionally loving doesn't mean that you're subject to abuse or intolerant behavior, but it does mean that you can look at them through the eyes of Source, through the eyes of the divine, and love them through it. Although you don't have to have that in your life on a constant, if that makes sense. And so it makes things a little bit easier as far as decision making as well. If you're in a relationship where you're just not sure, generate your love, bring them your best. And if it still doesn't fit you, that's your answer. I am a full-blown advocate for higher love. I totally recommend this book for those of you who are interested in this subject. And another book that I would recommend is A Return to Love by Marianne Williamson. Absolutely perfect book where she sums up the Course in Miracles. If you don't know about what that is, it's like a spiritual psychotherapy guide. It is amazing, and we'll go into it in the future. And another book, because I'm a nerd, would be Osho, Being in Love. This is another wonderful book on love. So get yourself one of these. If this is something you're struggling with in life, and this is our kind of as humans, this is our destiny, right? Is to become our highest selves and master ourselves. And since we are primarily at our source love, I think it's pretty important to start opening your mind to it and doing some research on it and reading on it and kind of getting in there. All right, so I hope this video was helpful to whoever is struggling on this subject. And well, until next time, guys, take care.